Bitcoin just came within inches of hitting $124,000. Yesterday alone, we saw nearly $1 billion worth of spot ETF inflows as open interest spiked to new all-time highs at around $90 billion. More and more longs are piling into the market. So, is it time to be cautious, or is Bitcoin just going to explode much higher from here? In today's video, we'll be addressing exactly this, going over the recent Bitcoin price action and what I think could be happening next. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. First of all, what a move for Bitcoin. You can see that right now, at the time of recording this video, we are sitting just above $122,000. And in general, the direction that we've been talking about has been correct. You can see here that we went up, we went down, and this was a massive move up, which I can confirm I did not personally expect. We had this move to the upside, we got rejected, and we played this to perfection. A long right around these levels, a short right around these levels. However, I was fully expecting us to go ahead and tap into this lower liquidity before bouncing higher. But you can see, we absolutely front ran that level. Bitcoin also, if we zoom into the lower time frames, held the previous range value area high as support. You can see we wicked below it, held it as support, and then we had an explosion to the upside. Late last night, Bitcoin made it just under $124,000, nearly making it to all-time highs. So what is next? Because this is indeed a wick, and we've had these wicks in the past, which ended up being tops. Is this going to be a triple top, or are we just going to consolidate here and then explode higher? In the short term, it's very clear that most of the market is long. I mean, it makes sense. Look at this explosive price action. You can see here that on the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, on the 12-hour time frame, it's relatively even. On the 24-hour time frame though, there's a couple of people still piling into shorts. However, anything further than 24 hours, you can see that everyone is essentially max long. So much liquidity to the downside on the 48-hour, on the 3-day, and of course, on the weekly, and so on and so forth. Lots of liquidity to be grabbed. Will it be grabbed is the question you probably have. Now, I also wanted to show you this map. I cannot in good faith tell you that Bitcoin will just explode higher from here without showing you this. You can see that there's almost 10 times more cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market compared to cumulative short liquidation leverage in the market. This, in my opinion, is indeed a cause for concern. We got a massive move up, and everyone is now worried that they're going to miss the next leg higher for Bitcoin. Naturally, everyone is piling into longs. On the left here, we have just under $20 billion worth of cumulative long liquidation leverage. And on the right here, we have just under $2.5 billion worth of cumulative short liquidation leverage. This clearly paints a very interesting picture, as we can also see that open interest has continued to climb. Right now we are at all-time highs, nearly $90 billion worth of open interest. There is so much leverage in the market. It would be absolutely surprising to me if we don't come back down at least a little bit to grab some downside liquidity. Now, to be perfectly clear, I am very bullish on Bitcoin. I still think that Bitcoin will be going higher this cycle, above 130, likely between 130 up to 150. I'm starting to see some 400K targets, some 500K targets, but let's be real, that will likely not happen this bull market cycle. I know a lot of you are watching the channel hoping that we go ahead and move lower so we can move higher, because I personally did not catch this move over here. We consolidated for so long at the bull market support band, it seemed almost too good to be true, and then we exploded to the upside with barely any pullbacks. If we are to get pullbacks, this is what I would be looking for Bitcoin here. First and foremost, the value area high of this range. If we are to come back down between the value area high and of course the point of control of this range, this could be a very interesting opportunity to go long so we flush out the market. That being said though, we have seen time and time again that when we create these wicks at the top, Bitcoin does get a nasty rejection and tends to go ahead and roll lower. This is not the only time in Bitcoin's history where we've had ranges like this only to go ahead and roll over. So far, we have not officially made a brand new all-time high. So we'll have to see how this plays out. If we get a pullback to this level over here, and the market continues to go max long, then I do think we should be expecting a little bit more of a pullback, which would bring us maybe all the way down to the 150K region, which is another high liquidity zone. So basically, we want to see if we can get this level for a solid long, targeting past new all-time highs. And if this level doesn't hold, then I would be looking for lower entries right around $115,000, trying to see the reaction that we get in the market. Right now, due to my own risk tolerance, I am certainly not willing to go long. I want to see if the price action can confirm retests of lower levels before we can go ahead and move higher. Now, this is only from a trading perspective. My spot portfolio, I am extremely happy that we're seeing Bitcoin nearly making new all-time highs. I want us to get above all-time highs. And as I shared in my free premium group, I will likely be selling some of my spot bag when Bitcoin gets back above $125,000. I accumulated most of my Bitcoin in this bear market, and so for me, that is an excellent multiple to go ahead and offload some of my Bitcoin. Don't kid yourself, we are getting frothier and frothier, and as outlined per the direction here, I do think that this is preparing ourselves for the last leg of this bull market cycle, the up only mode. Now, what we're seeing in terms of Bitcoin dominance is actually very ideal in my opinion. Most of your favorite influencers want altcoin season. They've been calling for it 300 times this cycle. And I mean, if you call for it enough, it will likely come to fruition. That being said, you can see that with this big pump, Bitcoin dominance is actually increasing. And yes, I am still longing Bitcoin dominance on Bluffin. That's a reminder, if you want to long Bitcoin dominance, or perhaps you think that we topped and you can short Bitcoin dominance going into altcoin season, you do have that second link in my description down below. Tons of bonuses, and it is personally my favorite exchange to trade on. Now, Bitcoin dominance will likely be moving higher. This has been my base case for the longest time, and we are holding support at this pivotal level. I still think that we find our way back above the bull market support band, likely around 62% Bitcoin dominance, which I've been calling for, and then we'll have to see the reaction at that level if we are going to go and sweep the highs, or if this will be the reversal, sending us into altcoin season. I know everyone is getting extremely bullish here. I mean, you can tell by these liquidation heat maps. Everyone is going long, but I just want to warn you, usually when we get a pump like this, it tends to retrace at least a little bit before we can go ahead and move higher. So from a trading perspective, before I can justify going long, I would like to see some of this liquidity wiped out. We also had some pretty massive news. President Trump said that he's considering a $1,000 to $2,000 stimulus check for all taxpayers using tariff revenue. This is starting to sound very similar to what happened with the pandemic. Maybe this is going to be the fuel to finally get the true altcoin season that everyone has been hoping for. Then El Salvador came out and said that their strategic Bitcoin reserve is designed to go up forever. This guy is essentially just flexing, and you can see it just continues to climb as the net profits continue to climb as well. And we also have the fact that short-term holders to exchanges in the last 24 hours have continued to increase. Now, what this means is there's basically tons of inflows going into exchanges, potentially ready to be sold as we go ahead and target some of this liquidity. So it's very clear right now what my base case is. I am not actually looking for longs at these levels. I think that the risk to reward here, unfortunately, does not favor longs, seeing how much liquidity to the downside there is. We want to retest these levels and confirm as support. Otherwise, then we have to start talking about how this could go ahead and move much lower. But I don't want you to think of me as a bear. I know that I was waiting for a lower price to go ahead and long Bitcoin. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, but sometimes that's how trading plays out. Now, I also do think that Ethereum will be catching a bid if Bitcoin goes ahead and confirms higher, but my base case here is still a little bit of a flush to the downside. We get ETH and the rest of the crypto market also getting a little bit of a flush as we continue to see Bitcoin dominance continue to increase. This is exactly what we want to see for the cycle to play out as it normally does. Bitcoin should be leading the way. And so if Bitcoin drops ever so slightly here, I do think that most altcoins will continue to struggle against Bitcoin, contributing to Bitcoin dominance going up. Then we have Bitcoin dominance leading the way. And then when we get to around this region, hopefully, and we start distributing, that is when altcoin season can truly start and Bitcoin dominance will go ahead and drop. Still think Bitcoin dominance continues to increase, hence my Bitcoin dominance long trade that I've been sharing on the channel for some time now. Also, the fear and greed index, this is actually relatively positive because we're approaching all-time highs, but it's still relatively neutral. So we're not extremely greedy despite what the longs versus short cumulative liquidation leverage may tell us. But I cannot lie, seeing tweets like this pump feels different. This pump feels real. This pump feels like the big one. And tweets like this, my 300 to 400K target for Bitcoin is probably too low, makes me think that we will likely have some kind of short-term pullback. Very, very clear. I want to see us break out of this range with confirmation. Some of you might be saying, haha, you missed the long. But the thing is, if we actually break out of this range, we are likely going much, much higher. I know everyone is excited right now, but I am perfectly content with waiting for confirmation before I can go ahead and go long. If we are to reject, this would be the area of rejection. If you want access to my own personal trading setups, remember you have that first link in my description down below. I have my free premium group. The only requirement is that you sign up with one of my affiliate exchange links and you start trading on those platforms. If you're already trading on there, go ahead and DM me on Telegram the word premium and I would be happy to onboard you. And that sums up today's quick video. In the short term, I do think we should be expecting a little bit of a pullback. If Bitcoin is max bullish here and we break new all-time highs, we will likely consolidate and then move higher. And so it's at that point in time that I would be looking for longs. Otherwise, because of the fact that there's 10 times more cumulative long liquidation leverage in the market, and because of the fact that open interest just continues to spike, making new all-time highs around 90 billion with 1 billion in Bitcoin spot ETF inflows, I am not willing to go max long quite yet. That being said, I'm very, very happy with my current Bitcoin spot portfolio because it just continues to print. I know there's a lot of crypto influencers spreading a ton of FOMO right now, and you may feel like you missed the big move, but in my opinion, this is simply not the case. Be patient and let the market do its thing. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.